exciting for us to be here. I understand it's 17 theaters around the country. We're just so happy that we're here as the film is opening to celebrate with you all.
To everyone out there, we want to thank you so much. Part of why we got to be here today and got to make Frozen 2 is because of the wonderful love you gave to Frozen 1. We hope that you can feel the love we put into this film, but we had you in our hearts the whole time.
And we have been working on Frozen 2 for over 4 years now, and we are so excited to finally share it with everyone, but especially with all of you.
I think when the first film came out, we were overwhelmed by the response, and so happy and humbled, really. But when we started the second film, we made a pact to each other that we would keep that pressure outside of the story room and build this film the same way we built the first film, which is really talking about the characters, where are they, what's the journey we want them to go on, really develop the story, working with Bobby Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez, the songwriters, again, talking about story and character long before any songs were written, and really built it authentically from the character's point of view.
Well, I think for us, in some ways, we had become a family, and it was our trust in each other that I think let us dare to take this journey again. I think we were all a little naive. We were setting out to do the first musical animated sequel ever. We were literally going into the unknown, and for us, we didn't know how hard it could be to tell a story that was an evolution, not just sort of a flip of different circumstances, but we really wanted these characters to grow. We wanted to treat this like Act 2 of a musical and really expand and go deeper. And we created probably the most ambitious tasks for ourselves. But what you said in the beginning was we had become a family, we trusted each other, and we had a shorthand. We knew these characters collectively very, very well, which made us make sure we were doing right by them. But it was certainly, I'd say, if the question's ever, is a sequel easier? The answer is absolutely no. It's much harder, but much more rewarding in some ways, because you feel very blessed to be back with these characters.
Well, we did a research trip to Norway, Finland, and Iceland, and we traveled and walked the forest in Norway and Finland. It was in September. It was 3 years ago, 2016, and we could just feel the enchanted forest. We could see the beautiful colors. One thing we didn't expect was that there was color, beautiful color on the ground, not just the trees. So we brought that into the movie, and you hit on it in that it's a maturing of the year, maturing of the seasons. Seasons are changing, our characters are changing, our characters are maturing. So the idea was that we would show with our background that you show what's going on inside the characters. You show that change happening, and so the audience is always sort of subliminally aware of change and maturity. Yeah. Well, it was a huge challenge. A lot of the characters were done between the character animators and the effects animators. There's a lot of back and forth that went on. Character animators may have started the action, but then the effects people had to take over, and then just went back and forth all the time. The horse was an incredible challenge in that we not only had the water horse on top of water, but then it went under the water. So you had water in water, and how do you make that how do you make that work? And our artists are just incredible. We would throw these challenges out, and we'd come up with these ideas and story, and you know, they never ever said no. They always said yes. We'd love to do it. That's a challenge. We don't know how we're going to do that yet, but we will. And they did. They just did some incredible work.
We made a discovery as we were traveling in Norway and Finland and Iceland and studying folklore and folk tales and then real old myths, that Anna was the classic fairy tale character. She's not magical in a magical world. She has strong wants. She has great obstacles, but really, after struggling, goes and perseveres for that happy ending. Elsa is a mythic character. Mythic characters often are magical. They have to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. They must do for us what we can't do for ourselves, but they often have tragic fates. And we realized we had a mythic character and a fairy tale character running side by side in Frozen 1. If it weren't for Anna, the myth would have happened and Elsa would have had a tragic fate, and probably so would have the world. The storm would have raged on. But Anna, in Frozen 2, we found, what if we went deeper into the myth? And what if we took the fairy tale character and pushed her to limits further than we ever have? And can she persevere? And how do you persevere through the darkest moments? And Anna shows you her power, which is the power of perseverance and love that she has, that she can be just as strong as a mythic character. What was interesting about Kristoff is that the Kristoff journey came from the men in our story room saying, why don't we ever talk about how important the proposal is for the man and how much they have love and have a hard time expressing it. And all of them, including these guys, talked about their love for their wives and how hard it was to propose and the silly mistakes they made.
Many screw-ups.
And that was a worthy journey, and to get to explore that, because there was something genuine in that we hadn't seen. But the other side, it's interesting, you mentioned paternal versus maternal. I think for us, we really wanted to celebrate moms. Moms are often the quiet heroes that take care of all of us and have so much inside of them. And so it was being able to celebrate the incredible love of their mother, and their mother so generous to save her own enemy, and having their grandfather be, as you found out, someone with the wrong intentions. I think was more about the girls having to take on that responsibility of saying, if there's a wrong that you have discovered, how will you go forward? But I think, as you can tell, this was complex film for us to create because we wanted all of those things to line up, because it's the stuff of families.
과연 3편은 나올 것인가, 이번에도 5년이 걸릴 것인가, 이런 얘기죠.
You notice they're laughing. We often talk about making these movies as like running a marathon, and we put everything we had into this film, the passion of the studio, the stamina of the two people to my right. I think we haven't thought beyond that last frame of the film, and we're looking forward to enjoying the run of the movie and taking some time off. So we have not contemplated beyond that moment. About a year after the first movie came out, I had the pleasure of coming to Korea to visit Seoul and meet with a lot of students and artists, and realized how much this movie had been embraced. So I'm just happy that we could be here as the film opens. It was really important to us to send some of our love back to you.
And to emphasize what Peter said, when he came here and came home to us. We had been talking about Frozen 2. Should we? Maybe. And he came back with this incredible feedback and support from you. And that was the moment we said, yeah, we don't want to leave them either. We have the same questions. And we may, be an ocean away, but we are so overwhelmed and so grateful because we feel you know these characters as well as we do. There's something special we've got to share with you. So thank you.
I started the journey, the Frozen journey, about 11 years ago, and it's been incredible. My son is here tonight, and Frozen has been around for probably half of his life, and he probably thinks that, well, he's had to live with all of these great characters as his brothers and sisters. Even Sven is probably considered a brother to him. But I have to say, I love these characters. They are my other family, and I am just so honored and humbled that all of you love this family as much as I do. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
네, 네 분 말씀 정말 감사합니다. 경청해 주셔서 감사하고요. 네 분 인사드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.